Hey everyone, Kevin P. McAuliffe here for Lowepost.com, and I'm back again with the next lesson in our Conform series. And I think that since we've now finished talking about outputting our timelines, it's now time to talk about review and approval. Review and approval is obviously a very important step in the Conform process, especially if the colorist doesn't have the producer or director sitting beside them in the chair all the time. Now, we're going to talk about a fantastic online review and approval tool from our friends at Digital Rebellion called Collaborate. And I'm going to show you how, using Collaborate alongside another fantastic partner application called Cineplay, you will not only be able to get your timelines to your clients for them to input their information and their comments and feedback, but you'll also be able to get that information back in a very visual, very dynamic way so that you can then take that export it, and import the information into Resolve so you can make the changes that you need as quickly as possible. Now, keep in mind that I can only really scratch the surface of Collaborate in this lesson, but I want to encourage you to head on over to collaborate.tv and check out a free 15-day trial of this awesome online review and approval platform. All right, now before we jump into Collaborate, I do have a master file on my desktop. Now I call it a master file, but it's a master file for approval, an MP4 file that I exported from Resolve that we're going to upload into Collaborate. So I'm going to Command or Alt and Tab into Google Chrome. I am on the collaborate.tv homepage. We're simply going to navigate up to login. I'm going to log in as myself here. And what I've purposely done is I've gone in and deleted all the projects that I had in here so I could show you the process from scratch. We're going to create a new project. I'm going to call this project, appropriately enough, Lowepost.com. We're just going to say this is a demo of Collaborate. We can come down, assign the client. I'll assign it as Lowepost.com. We can also get in and assign team privacy. We can hide contact information. And most importantly, we can have alerts sent for this project. Now, if you happen to have multiple projects going from a specific client, what you could do is import users from those projects so you don't have to keep importing them manually or creating them manually. I'm going to come down and say create. Now, you'll see we can now simply take the file that we have on the desktop, drag it and drop it into the Collaborate window. Now, obviously, keep in mind that the upload speed will vary based on the size, length of your file, and other parameters. So keep that in mind. You'll see it's going to take us about 24 more seconds to upload this file. And once the file is there, I'm going to go in and show you a simple but typical review and approval process in Collaborate, and then how we, as the editor, conform artist, or colorist, can get that information from here back into DaVinci Resolve. All right, so we got about 4 more seconds left. Once the file is done, you'll see there we go. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to check this file out by simply clicking on it. Now, once I do that, the file will start to play automatically. There we go. I can come down and just pause it right there. Now, at any point, I'm ready to get in and add feedback. So I could come down to about here, let's say. I'll just back it up maybe a little bit perfect. And maybe I'm not big on the sky color. Now, how you might be accustomed to working with a review and approval platform is to come in and start adding markers. But I'm going to do this a little bit of a different way. I'm going to add a marker, but I'm also going to add some annotation information. I'm just going to drop this down. We're going to have the markers red because red is normally a, hey, hang on a second. This is sort of a deal-breaking problem that we have to fix. And what I could do now is type in the comment, but I actually want to draw on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of outline the sky here like this and just say, this sky is not colorful enough. And once I'm done and I press enter, you'll now see that that marker, that note has been added, and a marker has been added to my timeline. Now what I'm going to do is just jump in. Let's add another one here. What we're going to do is we're going to come up and say, this is the incorrect shot. Okay, and I'm just going to draw an arrow. Let's just grab my pencil here. I'm just going to draw an arrow right up to this shot here. And I'm going to hit enter. And last but certainly not least, we're just going to jump down to here. And to be honest, I'm not really happy with the color of this shot. So again, we're going to do the exact same thing. Let's just draw an arrow. This shot needs more color correction. Now, once I've typed that in and hit enter, we're now ready to just say that we're done. And I'm ready to have the editor, conform artist, or colorist step in and get these notes sent to them. Now, of course, they could always log into the Collaborate platform and get the information. However, I like working a little bit of a different way. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to launch another fantastic tool from our friends at Digital Rebellion, and it's called Cineplay. Here it is right here. I'm going to launch it. In a matter of seconds, it will open. And what's cool about Cineplay is that not only is it a media player for QuickTime files, but what it also does is that it syncs directly with Collaborate. So what I can do is I can navigate up to Cloud. Now I'm already logged into my Collaborate account. If I wasn't, I could just log in right from here and come down and say, Browse Collaborate Files. Now you'll notice that the window's empty. There's nothing here. What I can do is drop this down and select the project that I'm currently working on, and there's my master output for approval. Now once I double click on it, what's going to happen is that Cineplay is going to open a window. You'll see it actually opens it right where I left off, but what we now have the ability to do, I'm just going to come back to the beginning and pause, is to come down to each of the markers, and not only will I see the marker information, but I'll also see the annotation on the screen at the same time. Now, as I go through and fix these, what I could do is I could change the marker color if I want, but more specifically, because we're going to be exporting these annotations or these markers as markers for resolve, just saying that this is the incorrect shot doesn't really help me very much. So what I can do is I can get in and update these and say, this is the incorrect shot. I'll just put a dash, upper right corner. Okay. Once I've done that, I could just hit enter to save that. And now, of course, if I come back, you'll see that that marker has been updated to say upper right-hand corner. Now I'm just going to add that again here. Let's just make sure that we don't delete everything there. Perfect. Upper right corner. Now, once I have all this information, the last thing that you really want to be doing is Command or Alt and tabbing into Resolve and come back here and be doing that constantly, because I want to know specifically what all the problems are, problem areas and shots and things like that. But what I really want to do is now get that information out of Collaborate, or in this case, out of Cineplay. Remember, you can export this information from the Collaborate platform or from Cineplay. It doesn't really matter. It's however you want to work. What I can now do is say File, and I can say Export, and I can say Markers. I'm just going to save these on the desktop as DaVinci Resolve Marker.edl. Now, once this file is saved onto our desktop, we'll just close Cineplay. I'm just going to hide Resolve for just 1 second, and you'll see the EDL file is very tiny, 575 kilobytes. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to Command or Alt and Tab into DaVinci Resolve. Now, you might be thinking that I'm going to right-click, or I'm going to come up to File and I'm going to come down to Import Timeline and Import EDL, but we're actually not going to do that. What I'm going to do is head to our file, our timeline. I'm going to right-click on it. I'm going to come to Timelines. I'm going to come to Import, and I'm going to choose Timeline Markers from EDL. I'm now going to select the EDL that we exported from Collaborate. I'm going to say Open, and in a matter of seconds, I now have these markers in my timeline with the updates that I added being specific to what shots actually need correction. So now we can easily get in, identify what shots need to have changes made to them, and get this timeline looking exactly the way the client wants it super quickly and super easily using the power of Collaborate. All right, now as always, if you have any questions, you have any comments or ideas for upcoming lessons or courses, I want you to head on over and post them in our forums at lowepost.com/forums. And if you have any questions for me, you can always send them to kevinpmcauliffe@gmail.com.